So, specific party, the order is going to change as we go in. About a 2-hour run when things go pretty well. Safety save a lot when you're learning it, no reason not to. If you want to do a solo black mage instead, it's almost identical. Here at the party selection, you would use a second black mage. Background notes for random encounters. We have to do a lot of killing stuff. You can't afford to have something that takes your turn away. So we'll extensively be relying on killing things. And some things are just hard to run from, so we will be killing them because they just stink. Show inventory management along. Also, it helps if you actually know how to do equipment glitch. You don't have to do your menuing now. In fact, it's not optimal to do it now, but I started, so I'm gonna finish. Head into town. First thing you gotta do, pop over here to the weapon shop, and you need a singular hammer. Now is when you could do the configuration. Most importantly, you gotta set the cursor to memory. Set your destination cursor where you want something to go. Start from the slot of you're glitching from. L and X, and that's my knight's armor. Need 3 of them, but 2 are just for money. So I don't need to do anything with them right now. Cure, that's going to be our primary source of healing for the first half or so of the run. I did forget to do one important thing while I was already menued. Try to combine these things, it just takes remembering, and that's the area of difficulty. I try to write things down. So, armor. Remove it from everybody. It's pretty important to do that because you need them to actually take damage. Definition of a solo red mage is 0 experience on everybody else. So, here, doesn't matter who runs away, whatnot, just as long as nobody's getting experience. That way nobody has actually contributed to the run except for Red Mage. You know, in the active sense. Manage your terrain walk as best as you can. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail, but I am going to try and make it as like a long. Skeleton's very spooky. What time for yawn attack? Preemptive means guaranteed run away. You pretty much always want to take advantage of those. Although if they choose to poison me, that wouldn't either. Leather cap, very important pickup. So helmet, weapon, here's my judgment staff, which is going to be one of the most important weapons of the entire run. Alright. Garland's gonna try and knock us all down in a minute. It's gonna run. It'll take as few as 3 hits, as many as 4 for the red mage to kill Garland. So manage your turn order based on how long it takes to kill everybody else off. And don't defend because you'll take half damage. So flee. That's beautiful. That's actually a very strong Garland fight. It doesn't get much better than that. Because he's unrunnable, you can spend all those turns running. Doesn't matter. Won't get away. It keeps you from having to defend. Alternative, you could use an item that doesn't do anything. That would still use up your turn. Not defend. I've always done it with run. I think that's faster because there's less time spent menuing. Sure you pick up the loot, because otherwise you're gonna get a little scene where she stops you at the door and it's slower. And who wants to go slower? Oh, Bridge Boss, scene 1 of 2. Jess was our head, we picked Judgment Staff, Garland, yeah. Walk to Garland is next. On this walk, the wolves in particular are a horrible chance to run away, so we just kill them. The ogres are actually good experience, and we do want to kill them. Anything else we should be good to run away from? Go ahead and move Top Hat to the top of the party. This puts the warrior in the 4th spot, which is very significant because if you didn't realize this, I was having to go glitch to the left before. Now I'm going to be able to glitch to the right. It's actually, for me, much better. Well, we got ambushed. That's unfortunate. The Knight's armor is a mid-game armor. It's the same the any percent run uses. It's the best absorb you can get this early in the game. We're going to quickly replace it. It's not going to be around for long. However, it is sufficiently strong to get us through this first section of the game, segment, whatever you care to call it. Going to manipulate the terrain a little bit. Stay on more friendly ground as long as I can. He ambushed me and I'm already menued. Whack him. The other important thing to consider is how long would it take to kill this fight and what are my chances of running away from this fight. Basically, the more attempts it would take you to run, the more inclined you're going to be to kill the fight instead of running from it. Because it may just be faster to kill them than run from them. So Provoke, I used to pick up Temper here as a spell. I don't do it any longer. It's basically not, but... Or rather, I replaced it with something that's more worth than that. Time to go shopping. We do this before defeating the pirates for the sake of NPC spawns that are annoying. Alright, so we clear everything out. I don't need potions, I need ethers. So we're gonna max the ethers. 20 antidotes will be plenty, and then Phoenix Downs do us no good. Now here I want the leather gloves and leather shield. Everything I'm buying is a specific one-to-one what it's going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is shield to staff, get the mage's staff. Second thing we're going to do is gloves to weapon, get the gladius. Now this is inventory management that I like to do. Like the judgment staff first, the mage's staff second. And then finally, this is still a newer thing, so I forgot to do it. Shield slot to shield slot. You can equip something one-to-one like that. So that lets me get a shield on the red mage right away, which is pretty significant for my survival rate ahead. Gladius, likewise, it increases my evasion So, improving my survival rate for a very important section of the game. That's outdated what I got copied. Oh, no it's not. It's just not specifically defined as 99. There we go. There's no reason not to buy all of them. Well, except a little bit of time save, you could only do 50. Because we're not actually going to use that much HP. It's just literally there's no excuse for running out. And it's a good idea to throw your first safety save down when you get into the boat. Particularly because odd eyes stink. They have the ability to stun us. They're the first such enemy we run across, and we don't want to mess with that. Let's see if we get lucky. We got lucky, so we're going to kill him. Again, if you fail to run the first turn, then he's got 2 chances to stun you. That starts running a lot of risk. Considering he's like 50%... not quite 50% successful, but probably be something like 30% successful. It's just high risk to run and turn your back to that stuff. You can't successfully run. I'm a level behind of what I would like to have right now. This should make it up. Alright, there we go. It's level 8 coming into Elfheim. Where we're going to come to the weapon shop first and purchase 1 dagger. All weapons become armor weapons, so that's significant for us. And I am still a level behind on Thunder. Not that critical because I don't need it yet. Means I have to make a return trip. I forgot to make one other purchase. Try to do them all at once if you can. Level didn't work out for that, but this helmet. That's going to become a weapon later on. But for now, weapon to armor, Dragon Mail. As you may have noticed, our stats got better. That is not the only reason to do that, but it helps. The Dragon Mail has a lower equipment weight, so your evasion is higher than it is with the Knight Armor. Probably gonna take 2 turns, but it's an ogre, so I still want to kill it. So, trying to pump up that evasion as much as we can. We're using the lighter equipment, we're using the dagger, which adds evasion. And then also I've got the shield in, which can occasionally just parry for me and totally block an attack. That's critical because of stun touch in particular right now. Stun touch through the next couple segments of the game is the most critical thing we come against. And I have to defend against it as much as possible. This is currently the best setup I have to do so. Double ogres are fantastic. It's actually quite happy to see them. Helm is going to become the Dark Claymore. Don't need that yet. We'll get it later. Also helps to know your encounter zones a little bit. Well, you have a general idea of where the danger is and where it isn't. That's the shield block. That's the reason for putting it on. The absorb doesn't hurt. And this is right at the zone line, so it's a good place to safety save. Because here we can encounter ghasts. Like that. Ghasts have stun touch. She thankfully didn't apply that time. Wolves are just bad to run, so we're gonna kill this encounter and hopefully not get poisoned. Just because it would save us menu time to not get poisoned. It's not that it's a threat. Let's see, this doesn't actually say my magic defense. No. Not sure what the red mage's innate magic defense is, but I think 2 per level. So we're talking about something reasonably high chance of success of that stun touch when they get to attack 3 times. And when you start talking about 5, 6 of those things, and they're all attacking one target, that is a whole lot of attempts to stun you. And you're basically not going to survive if they stun you. So you've got to kill or be killed. That's the only way to do it. Okay, door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. That was a really lucky one. I haven't encountered that far. These Piscademons are on a trap tile, which is a very significant thing because it offers us a chance to do an experience grind. See, I'm currently at level 11. In order to maximize my fight against Astos coming up, I like to be level 13. That is to get an extra swing of the sword. You can leave here at level 12 and count on getting 13 along the way. That's not an unreasonable position to take. You'll get it more times than not. On the other hand, 800 experience for those Piscademons is about twice what I would get from 2 ogres. That's from 3 Piscademons. So if it's a 6, if it's a 6, how's that? Don't do math while live on Twitch. It'll always be. It would take 6 ogres to get as much as that. So double the ogre. I don't know. It would take a lot of ogres to match the experience that you're getting here from the Piscademons. So we're efficient to level up now. And if you end up getting another level for Astos, then your stats are just going to be that much higher for Astos. Let's get for a crown. Go ahead and eat. Heals up. And safety save, in particular in this wave of marsh, you are worried about an enemy called Crawl. Creep, whatever he is. In any event, attacks 6 times with stun touch. Has 1 target to stun. That's sort of a problem. Be advised, that is one skip. Well, you're gonna want to kill it because you're gonna skip it. Preemptives are a guaranteed runaway. Take that guaranteed runaway against risky encounters that I would normally kill. It's a free escape, so take it. And Crawler, that's the one we don't want to see. But we got initiative, that's good. Stats are getting better as you level up, so much the better. Get our chance to kill it, but it can kill us. I'll safety save since we're out of the March Cave. Good idea, because the gas is on the... Head to the Northwest Castle. Again, managing the terrain just a little bit, trying to help the counter rate of the... You have 2 choices here. You can go straight up, which is the shorter path. It's a theoretically less chance of an encounter, but it's gassed territory, so it's worse counters. Wolves, we just start. They're not good trying to run away from you. Wait till you have the thief armlets running from wolves. You can push it after 15, but it's still rough. And they are clear. I love to kill ogres, but really don't need to kill. Alright, not so much your health you're worried about here. 100 HP is plenty. Come to the weapon. Helmet to weapon. That is a big pickup on damage. Looking at this real fast, see the attack jumped by 17. The accuracy isn't as good, which can cause a swing difference, but the damage is so much more. Dark Claymore, safety save before Astos. We're going to see your run rip a lot. Because he's got about a 1 in 3 chance of killing you. And not even 1. You have about a 1 in 3 chance of surviving him doing an insta-death spell. That is painful. And your odds are much improved. Your success rate will be much better with the safety save. Kills here, he's not. Slow is just about as bad. Yeah, so he took away our extra hits. Now we're going to switch to Judgment Staff for backup. That's not much better, actually, so I am going to stick with Dark Claymore. On a crit, it's going to do more damage. It's a crit, and it did more damage. No, it didn't. Slow stinks, okay? Slow stinks. Fight is significantly faster if he does not slow you. And that success rate is a lot lower than death. Okay, so you usually don't have to worry about it, it just happened to happen this time as this video. Back to the Gladius because we're trying to raise that evasion. Evasion as much as we can get it right now. Do your safety save on the open so that you have less to walk. And did. Proceeding with the key fetch quest is next. So if you know your lore, Astos stole Matoya's crystal. Could kill a single ogre, but take so many fights anyway. And I don't feel like it now. Preemptive, that's a guaranteed run, so I shall guaranteed away. Don't want to waste those. You can kill the ogres for experience. Still would be pushing it to run from the wolves. If it's just wolves, their HP is low enough you can kill them with the Mage Staff, which has a faster spell animation than the Judgment Staff. So you can save a little time that way. But if it's got higher level wolves in there, the Mage Staff won't do enough damage. Need to use Judgment for that instead. So pretty much we're running from everything right now. And the encounter's coming fast and furious at the moment. Done as much as we can do to raise our evasion right now. Our stats are about to get a lot better. Here, Mage Staff will not kill this encounter. Kill the warks. You're gonna need the extra punch from the damage from the Judgment. It's casting Flare level 8 Black Magic instead of Fire, which is level 3 Black Magic. That's more than double. Very significant difference. Also significant difference is that Flare is non-elemental. Fire is obviously fire. Also a good idea to still safety save on water because odd eyes. Though at level 15 that risk is reduced greatly, and if you're PB chasing, it's easy enough to sacrifice some of those in the early game. Count on not getting it. Hi Canuck. So I've written the notes and we're recording a tutorial video on this so that anyone who's inclined to run a solo red mage will get more in-depth how to. And then if I see anything I need to revise in the notes, I'll stop and I'll do that. Alright, so we failed to run the first time against these dudes, and I don't feel like sitting through 9 attacks again. We've already got an 18 on us. We'll blast them with the mage staff and get out of here. Hey, talk. No harm. Just gonna be focused on this primarily. So hugging the coastline here to stay out of the woods as much as possible, and then we're in the cave. It's a little unskippable scene to go through. You'll know it's over, or almost over, when Matoya moves back to behind the chair, because that's where she's going to end up. Comes to this side, and then she walks back to behind the chair, then it's over. Talk to her, she'll trade the crystal for a Jolt tonic. We're able to carry on here. Back to hugging the coastline. I should note, we do actually want more levels. In particular, 15's the minimum, but 17 is actually a lot better for the next dungeon. Whether you do that as a grind as you go, or you stop and specifically level up is up to you. Personally, I'm kind of I'd rather go to a grind fight and make it up all quickly. Also would be a good idea to safety save when you get back onto the boat, just to avoid that risk of odd eyes until you've upgraded your equipment here. I'll kill the 2 ogres. 2 ogres is enough, I'll kill them for right now. Their value is diminishing quickly, it's just good enough right now, I'll do it. Into the castle. And wake up the prince, who's going to give us the mystic key. Right, mystic key is very significant for what it's about to do for us. Need agility. Agility is pretty much king's stat of this run. And this mithril hammer is how we're going to do it. Or start doing it, at least. Come to the helmet. Warrior weapon. Gives the thief armlets. See, our defense is jumping up a lot. The evasion's going up, that's good. But we're getting that ability up by 10 points by equipping those thief armor. That is a very dramatic increase this early in the going. So 23 agility, we just added 10. That means we had 13 agility before. That's how much difference that's making. Just so that I've actually shown what the difference is. Now, these encounters before, like the wolves, that I had to take, I should be able to safely run away from them. Mind you, on the any percent run right now, they would have just gotten level 8. So we're at a substantially higher level. And we have the raised agility. Now, if you want the easier option of not having to glitch as often, you can keep the Dragon Mail on right now. The other option is raise your agility the extra 5 and put the Thief Armlets on. If you do that, be aware you're going to put the Dragon Armor back on. It's just too valuable coming up. Not going to use it, but it doesn't have to be used right now. Zombies we're not that scared of. Walked all the way back to Chaos Shrine to come back to this room. This is a guarded fight with these gargoyles. And this rune blade here for it. We're going to come to the Red Mage shield slot. Keep the Thief Armlets on because this isn't as much agility, but it's equipable in the shield slot, and it's this Gingy armor. Attack's going to go up, our stats are going to go up, everything but our evasion. However, the agility is going up as well. It's a heavier armor, but now we get another +3 agility added. So with 3 Thief Armlets giving us 15, and the Gingy armor we get +18 agility, which is more than double what the Red Mage would have on his own right now. It's also a faster animation on a shield block, by the way, so there's a secondary benefit to picking it up. And it's going to be our shield for about half the run, I think. Give or take. That's fairly significant. It's a very recent addition to the route, actually. But pretty much anything I can do to help survivability, I want to do. Resulted in a few changes recently. You can go over to that chest that's on the rightmost in the here. Get a mithril knife that you can turn into a black robe, which you can use to cast Blizzard. The reality, however, is we're never going to use Blizzard. The enemies that are vulnerable to Blizzard, we aren't going to be able to get enough damage from. So I've taken that out of the route. Gaze, that's a little unfortunate. What's also a little unfortunate is I forgot to buy spells in Elf. So I'm gonna have to do back there, because it's pretty important. You should do this when you are first obtaining the Mystic Key, not coming back here like I am. Do the Elf Treasury, come into town, it's faster. Come on up. Black Magic Shop, and grab Haste. I'll learn Blizzard just for the sake of it, but really can't imagine off the top of my head when I would use it. I guess maybe Fire Elemental. Yet. Agility not only affects your getting ambushed, your preemptives, it affects your turn order in battle. So what you'll see pretty consistently now is the Red Mage going first against most enemies when I'm not ambushed. That's the shield block. Has that nice metal clank. Clink, clank. This is the danger of not saving. There's only one odd eye, so I actually have a decent enough chance to recover and made it out. Especially because at this point I'd have to restart the whole video. So let's see how long we're here for. And it's a good example of why you don't mess around. Stun enemies. Got a little too brave with all that extra agility. This is what happens. Be a lesson. Oh, you need to be level 15 to be able to purchase haste. Got the nitro powder. Alright. Kill it with fire. Nuke it from outer space. It's the only way to be sure. You're basically guaranteed to go first in that fight, so it's just so much safer to kill it instead of going through that trying to run, even though obviously you should be successful running, but sometimes the game just is obnoxious about that running. The Red Mage has many talents, that's not one of them. Alright, here we are with the dwarves. Takes about a minute to run in, talk to Nerix, view the scene, and get out. Just don't feel like you're in too much of a hurry there. Belmont is going to be our next destination. Biggest thing we're going to do... Well, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to sell off the knight armor that we had before. And that's going to be enough money for the rest of the game. And then that steel gloves is going to be our primary melee weapon for the rest of the game. But we don't need it immediately. The short term, we just want the evasion. That takes care of things with Nerix. Wait a minute. How often you safety save is really going to depend on a lot of factors. But for example, on the sea, if you have a safety save, you can be a bit more bold in trying to run away to speed up fights. Because if it goes wrong, you can just reset back to your safety save. Probably. Well, just a little bit slower than if you killed it, honestly. Not entirely sure the total reload time, but it's around 10 to 15 minutes. It's pretty close to how much time you take with the judgment step. Try to combine menus as much as you can, so I'm going to heal up when I safety save. On our way to Melmond. Pretty low risk right now, considering all of our setup, but still, occasionally double odd-eye fights happen, and a double odd-eye can stun lock you forever. Single odd-eye would have a hard time doing that, but the double can. Elmond, go north, follow the wall, up to the armor shop. That's going to make sure we have enough money. Steel gloves. Evening, Paula. Welcome. I am doing a tutorial video here for how to do a solo red mage run. A lot of narrative on it. Sticking with this tile instead of the grassland because it's better for the encounter rate. Shadows are nice for their preemptive, but also they only do dark instead of paralysis, so it is fully safe to run from them. Oh, no problem. Don't be shy. Just letting you know what I am. Here we are with the Earth Cave. Now, We're at 15, which is pretty much my minimum. These first two floors are very safe. There's a slight risk of mummies showing up, which you'd want to kill, but it's pretty low. Get away without doing a safety save until the third floor if you're trying to time crunch, but starting out, save often and then figure out where you want to cut saves. Best way to go. Cobras! They can poison us, which is unfortunate because of the extra menu time. But their damage is not significant, so we will can. Does this work on NES? This won't because the NES doesn't have this equipment glitch that the PSP does. That's the specific thing that makes it this fast. You can do a solo character run, but it would be something more on the order of 6 to 8 hours instead of 2. So, very significant difference. Alright, third floor is what I call the floor of frustration, and safety saving here is entirely mandatory. Save when you get in, how often you save, that's a little tougher. This is about halfway, I'm gonna save again. In particular, you're worried about the undead, but Piscademons show up, they are unrunnable. I'm gonna melee them. It's even to faster with using the Judgment Staff, so because there's only 2, I'll melee them. If it's 3 or more, Judgments. Ambushed, but it's by ogres, we're not worried. Ogres aren't worth the kill, and they aren't worth the wins, so we're gonna... May take a couple turns. There's a lot of fights where the game loves to make it take 3 turns. Success rate on the third turn of running is overwhelmingly better second. I failed. Alright, that's my limit. If I don't succeed in 3 turns, I'm just gonna... The manual is made from the thinnest paper. Yeah, it was pretty thin. I have the manual, I have no idea what happened to all my NES stuff. I got lost in the movie, fortunately. Should be able to finish them off with Mage Staff. Hopefully I don't regret that. Good side-by-side on the damage, though. That's why you do Judgment Staff instead. Get here. Get in here. I don't care about this treasure, but this trapped tile has a single Earth Elemental. He's an unrunnable encounter. He's not going to do any damage to us. It's a little too slow to do that with the Gladius, but since we're right next to the vampire, let's go ahead and glitch sword on. Gloves to weapon, barbarians. And I'm going to grab 17 this fight. This does exist on the first floor. Still not sure if I would rather do that or do it here, but I would safety save after getting 17. And normally wouldn't have that ogre fights experience in the mix. So, just a little bit more damage from this barbarian sword. Which is the best weapon. It's the best sword. And it's, there's nothing better that you can get access. It's great. Make sure you safety save for the vampire, because the vampire does have the ability to stun. And that is a pain. Shield block, perfect. One-shot kill. Grab the ruby. Evening, Chris. and then switch back to Gladius to raise the evasion again. Because you're not going to sword things anyways. And safety save so that you don't have to refight the vampire. Because why would you want to refight the vampire? More Pisca Demons. They are the only unrunnable encounter that's going to show up in this dungeon. They're very easy to kill. Also, because they're unrunnable, they will not ambush you, so you're always going to get turn order. Good evening, Vic. Again, about halfway, safety save, so you don't have to recover that ground if you get stun locked. What we're primarily worried about is what I call a group of death, but jerkbirds are also a thing. I got a preemptive though, so I will run. Kill those if you don't have a preemptive. They can turn you into a statue. Undead, group of death. They do stun you, and they hit a lot with their stun touch, and we don't want that, so absolutely kill them. Do not risk it. Really, the only question of what you do on this floor is how often you save. And that was a pretty conservative several saves approach. The floor is a lot safer at level 17 than it is even at 15, but 14 is virtually unplayable. I know that sounds weird, because it sounds like, oh, what difference does one level make? I've tried. I've tested it. It's not something that I've been able to come up with concrete calculations or mathematics on, just from trial and error. 15 is the break point where it becomes playable, and then 17 significantly easier. When we go back in, we'll probably be level 20. Just saying. Gargoyles are strange. Usually they're fine to run away from, occasionally they just get outright obnoxious. Health-wise, doesn't really matter right now because nothing's going to do enough damage to us on this walk out. Preemptive, a runaway, gladly taken. Anaconda's more risk of poison. That 23 is a crit, so it bypasses half of our defense. Not the biggest deal. And then once we're outside, time to heal up. And safety save. Because back on this overworld, the ghasts do lurk within the mix. Random encounters. So, definitely need safety saves. And choose to try and YOLO this for a PB attempt, but as you're learning it, this is kind of the minimum that you want to save. Well, my chat is talking about barbecue and I'm getting hungry. Love it. This Titan goes out of the way once we feed him the ruby. Nothing here we want. And I'll save on the other side of the cave. That way, I never have to worry about feeding Titan again. Counter pool in this zone is also pretty bad, by the way. The entire overworld is split up into grids. They're invisible, but you know where they are. Map and kind of get a general understanding. But the mix over here is pretty bad for having a lot of gas. It necessitates safety. We have Sarda. Sarda's going to give us the rod. Then we're moving on. Obviously, the only thing we need here. Conservative route. Save after you get the Earth Rod. I usually don't. From the shadows. What I'll typically do is not save until the other side of Titan's Cave again. But there is pretty significant risk in that area. I just happen to not see it. So instead, this is where I like to do my save. That would be the only one I would do after Sarda North. But I want to give the conservative strats their due. They do make it a lot easier to play because, boy, the encounters can be a lot more unfriendly than what I've been getting here. Like, if this were a legit run instead of a tutorial, I would seriously be threatening my PB based on these encounters. Back into the Earth Cave, you do not need to save till the floor. You could, but it's not even a safe play. It's not necessary at all. Guess you could say it's a peace of mind play. Right, 18. I said we were probably going to be 20, and the game proved me completely wrong, but that's because I didn't have to kill any undead fights. Which is pretty unusual for this run. But also that many Pisca demons is pretty unusual, so there's a balance to everything. I usually won't do a midway safety save, though. When I come back, I'll just go all the way through the floor. There is a risk in doing that, so you can still safety save when you're up there halfway. The jerkbirds can turn you to stone, and since there's no one to recover you from your statue status, that's bad. And you can see, we do not get enough damage from Mage Staff. One shot, use Judgment Staff against them. Up here to the plate that was behind the vampire, use the Earth Rod, and we are able to continue on. 4th floor. I call the 3rd floor the Floor of Frustration. This is the Floor of Frustration's little brother. Very similar group of encounters, but it's slightly better. I like to go this low route. It's technically 2 steps longer than the fastest way through. However, it's very easy to do, and make sure that you don't accidentally go the long way. And you don't want to accidentally go the long way because it's longer. The shadows, by the way, are lower risk than the ghasts because they only attack 1 time instead of 3. However, they do still stun. So they are still risky. Don't like them. 5th floor is... If you feel paranoid, save when you start on the 5th floor. It's usually fun. Alright, very important to get our equipment right. Also, make sure you heal. You want to be full health for this. Come to the weapons. Put the Barbarian Sword back on. Come to one of your armors, and put the Dragon Mail back on. Once you do that, you're safe for the fight, but I'll throw a safety save down anyways. Here's Lich, gonna take 2 swings to kill him, maybe 3. And this is what we do the Dragon Mail from. It halves the damage, basically, from that. And Lich is gone. So as long as you're healed, and remember the Barbarian Sword, you're gonna win that easy. You can tank that with just the HP and not do the Dragon Mail. However, I also want the Dragon Mail on for the next dungeon. So we get our first example of this scene, which is going to play out after each of the fiends is defeated. One of the bonus dungeons. That one's the Gift Shrine. And we are clear of the Earth Cave. One more time, I'm going to swap the Gladius back in just to make our walk to the next destination as safe as possible. You can heal there. I don't really feel like taking the extra time, so onward I go. Not a huge priority what level you come out of there at. Really, the only level priority to this stage of the game is that you get 15 third floor. Let me see. I did not write this down. I can't. We're moving on to Crescent Lake. Couple tiles down from that peninsula going off screen. Time to go west. That'll line you up to Crescent Lake's dock pretty well. Agility should be fine from running from everything. The big eyes are the biggest concern, but sharks are particularly bad for trying to run away from. So if you see a shark before you have the agility boosts on, you're going to want to kill them instead of trying to run. Walk to Crescent Lake. Not much of note here. There's no unrunnables. There is, however, and Pedes happen to be pretty good experience. So, if you get a single one, you may want to kill them. See a group of them, you may want to use 2 Judgment Staffs. I'd probably only do that if there were 4. If there's 3, probably better off to run away. If there's 1, maybe attack it. If there's 2, 3, you probably don't want to mess with it. If there's 4, strong case for Judgment Staff. I have a little trouble running from this. Alright, that was 3, so we're going to kill it. Like at that point, I've sunk enough time into the fight, let's just get out of it. And this is okay experience, it's just, we're going to get a lot better soon. Also, you can see why I generally don't want to mess with this stuff. It's going to take 2 Judgment Staff. Good news is, however, there's a lot to get a lot better on that front. But we have to get into town first. There we go. Well, that was a pretty high encounter rate for walking here. Usually don't see that much. But we should be fine to get into town. There we go. Don't need many, but I'm gonna buy some high potions. Then mithril gloves for a pickup, and mithril axe. Now, just for comparison, our agility currently is 28. It's about to go up. $28 to $58. Not bad. Oh, there we go. We got a canoe. You aren't able to get the canoe until you've defeated the Fiend of Earth, by the way. In case you never knew that from the vanilla game. You can get here, but they won't give it to you. Use the high potions for a little bit to heal, because Cure has gotten a little weak on me now, relative to our HP. So it would be faster to use a high potion than Next destination is going to be the Ice Cave. Ice Cave has a couple of unrunnable formations, and a couple that we just don't want to mess with. The good news is, we greatly improved our agility for it. Also, the dagger that we added not only adds agility, but it's a significantly better weapon radius. So, it's going to be quite good for attacking stuff. And it will be needed. Alright, this is a little unfortunate. This is like the last thing I wanted to see. So we're gonna nuke it. Alright, thank you for the bits. You're having a good evening. Inside the ice cave, it is very much time for a safety save. We haven't had one since defeating Lich. There is a lot of risk here. A lot of situationally dependent strats, but Pisca Demons are still unrunnable. Use the Judgment Staff to take them down. You can learn the Thunder spell, which they don't resist, but it won't do enough damage, so it's just better to have Judgments. Spectres. Any of the undead, kill them. Nuke them. Don't mess with the undead, just to get rid of them. If you want to play the conservative, make sure I finish type stuff, throw down saves each floor. You're just chasing PBs, save at the start of it. They came in with one pretty big crit, but they're having a lot of trouble hitting us, so that's good. That's why we want all that evasion. Both our evasion and our absorb are very good right now. We got a rare drop from them. Rare that they drop that, but it's not worth anything to us. You could buy it in a shop, so I have no interest in it. Alright, definitely safety save after you fall down the hole, because this trap tile is a group of death. Ambushed is unfortunate, it's almost an instant reset, but wait to see if they stun you first. If they stun you, just reset. They didn't, so we'll kill them. And that works out good. Definitely getting experience as we go that I don't really care about. Just because I have a better source. Alright, this one's the most unfortunate that you get. You have to kill the wolves, they're the ones that can do damage to you. Unfortunately, the Ice Gigas has just too much HP, and this will not kill him. So take out the wolves. Delay the Ice Gigas. It's just not worth it to do anything other than that. This is a bad encounter. Again, you've got the undead. Don't mess with them. Kill them. The mummies can do sleep. And the jerkbirds can turn you into a statue. So, don't want to mess with that encounter at all. Fall down the hole. And here we are at the eye fight. Now, he is an unrunnable encounter. And our agility is very high. So we are guaranteed to go first. Optional, but strongly advised, do a safety save when you're lined up for this fight. That way, if you accidentally overstep and fall off, you can just reset back to it. But otherwise, this is going to take like 15 eyes. We want to get to level 33. Actually, 15 is probably not right, it's more 8. You'll get one usually every 2 eyes, and occasionally it will take 3. If you come in at a lower level, you'll get them faster. It's also going to be somewhere the 300 HP maximum. You level up all those times. You can get off-tile encounters, you should be fine for them, but it follows the same rules as the rest of the Ice Cave. So, just be prepared to do a lot of killing here. The biggest reason to do that, even though you could get levels as you go, is that you now have the benefit of this level grind for everything that's coming up, and that matters. The more your stats go up, the more all of your damage outputs are going up. So you have more damage to deal for bosses, get more spell damage because your intelligence stat goes up. So getting the level grind in as early as possible, it just makes the rest of the run better. Check where we are, we're at 30 right now. 33 is my minimum. Because of zombie dragons at Citadel, I'm gonna get the last couple levels there. So it's a toss-up between doing 35 here, 33 and finish 35 there. Up to you. The main difference is having a chance at Mega Elixirs. And you'll save a little bit of walking if you get a Mega Elixir. So we need 2 more levels. One. And probably 2 more. Well, maybe 1 after this. Kind of a worst case encounter, but levels are a lot higher now, so everything is better. And stuff shouldn't get turned on anymore. And you can see that the Judgment Staff damage is almost double. So, a lot of benefit to doing these levels. Nope, still gonna need one. That'd be the last one. Finished. Fall down the hole. 33. Definitely save before you step on the next tile, since you are going to take this fight, and also it locks in your levels. That one's an automatic safety save. Even on a PB run, I would safety save there before stepping on the next tile. Not really worth the risk. Ice Gigas, he's unrunnable. Melee him. Definitely not worth it to do anything else. If you try and Judgment Staff, it's not going to do damage. It'd take like 3 Judgment Staffs to kill him. So, much better to melee. They're out of the ice cave! Next destination is pick up the airship. Everything I said there. You can stop at 33 or you can go on to 35. I don't harbor a particularly strong opinion on what you do. The walking time you save if you get a Mega Elixir is not that significant. So I actually prefer 35 from the eye, but I want to be sure I show both. I'm gonna kill this because I don't want to mess with a big eye. This is the last time I ever have to see one on this trip. Should have no problem with turn order. Future. That doesn't mean the runaways are guaranteed. Jerks are jerks. They're jerks to run away from. There we go. 3 tries. The game loves to work in 3s. For whatever reason. That was a very poisonous group. Ryukon Desert, this is where we get the airship. So, up next is our journey to Citadel of Trials. You can risk not saving through this next segment. You want to go brave and you're trying a PB. If you want to do the more conservative thing to be sure you finish, then you'll want a safety save after landing the... I'm having trouble navigating, but that's where you want to land. Save here. The sandworm encounter pop up here. If they do earthquake to you, you have no resistance. So you're worried about a sandworm ambush and then throwing out earthquake. That's the reason to safety save. And kill a sandworm that you encounter. Don't mess with those. Definitely not worth messing. And managing the terrain a little bit. Strokes down in the canoe. Preemptives are great. We'll take all the preemptives we can get the rest of the game. There aren't many encounters that I could preemptive that I would kill anyway. None come to mind offhand. Alright, Citadel if you really feel the need, you can safety save here. You'll be able to go a few rooms usually without getting an encounter. That's pretty early. Zombies are unrunnable. They're weak to fire, but the mage staff still won't do enough damage, so you're still on judgment strats. And it's always the pillar to the south. This is the room we usually get the first encounter in. Devils, usually they're fine to run from. This is the biggest reason I have the dragon mail. Cut the damage down from stuff doing fire to me. There's these dudes, there's the Catmen. There's also Frost from the wolves back at the Ice Cave, but usually they're not going to get that off. In fact, they shouldn't ever get it off. If there's just one nightmare, melee it, because it's faster. If there's two, you're going to have to do spell damage, unfortunately. Still might be faster to melee it on. Not sure on that one. Alright, time. Change our shield. This Gingy armor has served us well. We're going to get a white mage weapon. Switch to the left and put lordly robes on. And now Mage Staff's going to actually be able to do some real damage. Hopefully enough to take out that king. Yeah. Take out the king mummy just fine. It won't take out the nightmares, though. But we've gone from the 200s to the 400s. Thanks to those lordly robes. Serving us well. I do have less agility trying to run. That is one area where they come up shorter than Gingy are. Ambushed by these dudes. And this is a big part of the reason why I want a dragon armor. Get ambushed here, they can cast a lot of fires on you. Just makes life easier to still have the dragon armor. But we are soon going to retire it. Mind Flayers have Death Touch. Perhaps even scarier than that, they have Trance, which wastes a whole lot of time and stuns you. Kill them. Always kill them. And there's our tail. At levels. I'm already at 35. So how many zombie dragons you care to kill here is subjective. I'll do a couple to get at least one level. Ambushed. This is quite unfortunate because they have sleep. You could safety save after getting the lordly ropes, by the way. That is an option. This is a 1 to 2 zombie dragon encounter, by the way, so even though we've gotten all ones you can get 2, I would still melee the 2 instead of switching. There's my level. So no Mega Elixir. That's fine. It can just save a little bit of walking. It's not that significant. As I said, there's still a strong case to make for doing 35 on the eye. And then not worrying about any grind whatsoever deal. Citadel is the case, maybe. I have a habit of reverting back to the NES names because it's what I've played more. Though ironically, this year I've played the PSP a lot more than the NES. It's been a good year. I got a couple PBs put up on the board I was happy with. Still worried about sandworms, though, although we should get turn order on them. It's still at risk. Incidentally, those lordly robes are the only reason to bring a white mage to a party. If you were curious. Alright, we're gonna come over here to the Dragon Islands. This is the first one we want, Cardia Forest, as it's been called. On these two islands, you want to come to the treasure chest that is on the left. The X potion. Hopefully this is on screen. Doesn't matter particularly what order you do this in for splits purposes. I like to have the potions already done when I do class change. I split on class change. That said, if you reverse the order, no big deal. Same amount of time. Elixir is our second complete heal. HP heal. Pick up those two. Little jaunt north here. This is Bahamut's Island. Those complete heals are for the final boss. We need 3 of them to be able to finish the game. I'm going to show where all 4 are. Well, I say 4. There's more in a bonus dungeon, but obviously don't want to do an extra dungeon that we don't need to. And 3 is enough. 4 is basically marathon safety. Alright, there's our class change. Clean that up, I'm repeating myself. The major reason to class change is to be able to spell, which is going to save us some time. If you wanted to go crazy, you could farm the puzzle for 3 emergency exits and skip class change. Then you would do 1 after the vampire, 1 to leave the waterfall, and 1 after you pick up the Rosetta Stone. I forgot to do my sweet new tech about ordering the Giant's Tonic. The whole thing is if you sell something up at the top for the Giant's Tonics to fall in that slot, then you won't have to remenu later. I only thought of it last time I was playing. That's a brand new strat that I haven't really implemented yet. Alright, this is Gaia. Gaia is home to the fairy who gives us the Oxyel. The Oxyel enables us to do the Sea Shrine. We're not quite ready to do that yet. But we're going to grab the Oxyel so that we have the option. Then Melmund is going to be our next destination. Unfortunately, you just have to make 3 trips to Melmund. There's no real other way to do it. Well, unless I had a good way to kill Lich without the Barbarian Sword, then there would be a way to avoid Melmund. But I don't think that's even real. Oh. Okay, that's the Earth Cave. It's Melmund. Take that, Melmund. Deserve it. Deserve everything, Melmund. There's our Cure spell. That's the strongest single target healing spell that we learn. And then Teleport. And right here, and we're on our way. Unrack. By the way, there's minimum levels required to learn every spell. I didn't always bother to note them, but just realized that that does actually make a difference sometime. Come here, hope that Kopi is a bro up there. He is for us today. He stayed out of our way. And we're gonna get in the barrel. There's a lot to get done here. There's also 3 different unrunnable formations, and this is one of them. This is where it actually would have been better if I had learned, but alas, I'm not going to worry about it for this one formation. It's the only one I would use Thunder, so I'm not going to stress about it. Alternatively, I could pick up the gauntlets in Citadel. Could be an option, but it's also more menuing, so consider what your trade-off is. So of course this is going to be a Sahagin-infested run, I'm sure. But it's not that bad, the Judgment Staff. It's just about half the spell time or something like that if you have the Elemental spell instead. Ghosts are unrunnable! But good news is, with Lordly Robes and Mage Staff, we should do just fine killing them. But actually, rather the ghosts, as far as go. Waters are unrunnable. I think because there's only 2, I'm going to melee them. Judgment Staff if there's more than 2. They're vulnerable to ice. It's not worth having for them. It may not even do enough damage. Lordly Robes. For maids, we're only worried about 1 treasure, and it's right here, the Rosetta Stone. And we teleport. Which lines us up nicely for the next treasure that we care about. Alright, as far as non-required encounters, that's about the only one I would care about, the Deep Eyes. Unfortunately, they come with a white shark attached, but really good experience for that fight. Shark by itself, all. But a couple of Deep Eyes are hard to pass up. Once you've done about 4, not really worth any more. But up to 4, they're a very tempting target. So the biggest reason I don't go higher than 33, 35 on the level grind is just because there's going to be so many encounters that you kill anyways. Mainly the unrunnables, but a few of the can't really risk them category. Come here, we get the light axe. And now we get the survival vests. And that dragon meal has served us well, now it's time to retire it. Now our agility is up to 84. And then don't walk, teleport back to the info floor. This was our entrance, and then we go to the left side. There is nothing on this floor. Now we've foregone the elemental resistances of the dragon armor for the sake of having the maximized agility and other stats that we get from survival vests. Our melee damage actually goes up by a good bit. But still, thanks to the lordly robes, we can one-shot these ghosts. How many unrunnables is that already? 5? 5's pretty high. Actually, I think it's 6. 2 ghosts, 1 water, now 4 sagging encounters. At least 7 unrunnables. That's pretty high. A little unfortunate. So if you're used to the NES version, walking along the walls does not prevent encounters. You can even actually get an encounter in it. New strat. Let's not forget the new strat. This is a very, very recent addition. Alternative is you can buy Temper at Provoca, but I've come to favor this. For the cost of a couple fights, we come in here, we pick up the Giant's Gloves. Giant's Gloves have the effect of Saber. Come to think of it, if I'm gonna route the Giant's Gloves in, I should do my Light Axe there. Would be better. The only downside is I'd have to go through more encounters without survival with hell. Actually, probably not that far apart, because I wouldn't have to fight any on the other floor. I'll revise that in the notes, but there's a second light that it's gonna turn out to be superior if you're on Giant Gloves route. Hoping we get through this with no unrunnables the rest of the way. It would also be nice if stuff didn't ambush us. You know, the usual things you want. Speedruns. That's a pretty good walk there. Kind of optional whether or not you do that. I'm going to. You can just haste the dagger. Takes an extra turn or two, though. This will probably one-shot kill after we haste. No need to respect Kraken, though. The damage is going to be nothing. There you go. That's Kraken. Second fiend defeated. Destination is going to be the waterfall. a couple of fetch quest runs. Spring Grotto box. Or you can fight Gilgamesh if you're so inclined. Put the dagger back on. I really want that ability. We only don't want it for the bosses because the damage is so much better with Barbarian Sword. Alright. Row your canoe right up north to the waterfall. As far as unrunnables here, it would just be the green dragons. However, there's a couple things I'm not gonna mess with. The undead. Nightmares are a nightmare to run away from until you have survival vests. Once you have survival vests, you should have reasonable success in running away from them. But like back when we encountered them at Citadel of Trial, not worth trying to run from. But our agility is so much higher because of the 3 survival vests instead of 2 black garbs. I think a 25 agility difference. Well, other than the encounter rate, the encounters have been pretty friendly. Green Dragon, there'll only be one. See it? And I'll melee that. They're vulnerable to ice, not worth having the ice spell. Kill them with it anyways. Mage Staff plus Lordly Robes is a lot more damage. And our ribbon, and our cube, and one more important pickup. The Defender. The Defender was known as the defense sword in ES, and it casts Ruse. Implications are pretty obvious. That's a final boss strat. A very valid one. I don't know why I have that written in Mirage. I definitely already do that. That back at Citadel. Edit I'll have to make. Here comes our last trip to Melman. Never have to be bothered with it again. Nailed it on the land. Alright, chit chat with Dr. An. As a reward, we learn the Fane language. You're actually supposed to teleport it. Not a huge difference. But again, there's stupid NPC RNG. A couple of these exits that it's nice to. Southwest, southwest, southwest. You can't land. Alright. Onto this pond as much as you can get, because all the encounters here, runnable. Land, there's actually a couple that are unrunnable. The wolves you can run from, and should have plenty of success. If you see an Ice Gigas, it is unrunnable, and you can either Mage Staff or Judgment Staff at that point. Judgment Staff still's probably not doing enough to kill an Ice Gigas, though. So I do Mage Staff melee the Ice Gigas. And Zombles, Venator Zombies, whatever they're called, you can use Mage Staff to kill. You're doing that. Now we need that dude to be bro. He's not. Cadillac would like a recommendation. I recommend Among Us Logic, YouTube. It's a series of videos they've done. Same people have done an even better video on Fall Guys Logic. But it's a fairly entertaining animated series. There. Even if you're not the biggest fan of the game, you should still find it somewhat enjoyable. The Door Zombies. Blast them with the Mage Staff. Yeah, got an okay axe. Another Venator Zombie. So, pretty substantial difference in when you have the Lordly Robes, but as far as the other two elements go, just really not worth it. By the way, if you get a Tyrannosaurus, that's a rare encounter, and you should kill it, because it's like the best experience in a game. It can show up there. Alright, Mirage, it's been a while since we've saved, so I will. More importantly, I'm doing the heal. Not a ton of risk, but there is some. And that's a pretty good walk, actually. Vampires, the groups we're able to run away from, it's only the individual vampire that couple. Optional, you could kill them rather than risk the stun. Use Judgment Staff if you're gonna do that. Just don't mess around. Okay, 3 King Mummies has lured me in. That's worth more than an eye. 4,000 experience. Eye is 3,300, so yeah, worth more than an eye. Quick kill like that. Alright, I don't think I want to risk running from the vampires a second time. Let's kill him. Yeah, get very nice damage with those Lordly Robes and the levels that we have now. And, no, they're worth almost 2 eyes of experience, so that part doesn't stink either. You may want to make it a first try or kill situation. Blue Dragons are your last stationary chance to level grind if you feel like you need more. They're not as good as an eye, but they are stationary. You can get that fight unlimited. Everything but eye, next 2 floors runnable. much rather run. Make our way to the boss here. I actually do tend to root for eyes there, just because I'd rather get the experience. And I'm factoring in, with the level grind, that I know I'm going to take a bunch of these fights along the way. Because so many of them, it's better to kill. That said, 4th floor, no longer possible to see eyes. It's very sad. You know, I have in my head this is actually an unrunnable. I don't care to risk it a second turn, so we're gonna kill him. This is a rare one here. Not positive that that's an unrunnable encounter, but it is also a really delicious amount of experience. This one is definitely runnable, and definitely annoying if you don't get away from it. Air elementals are runnable. They might be a little stubborn. Soldiers are also a really good experience. They're quick to melee. Not as quick as I thought. Ow, I low rolled the first time, I got that crit on the second time. Makes all it. You'll usually one-shot them. Bridge of Destiny time! There is a chance of Warmech, so you may choose to save based on that. And also you can go ahead and throw the sword on when you do. Just run from it. Go. All the way to Tia. Unlike last time, we're actually not going to change our weapon after this fight. Ooh, gonna be a quick Tia, because spell. Well, now you did. Be full health. You're face tanking a pretty good hit there. But it's safe enough, because Tia isn't going. Tia will do Scourge next, which you should survive. And then you'll have killed Tia faster than get the Blizzard. Okay. Works, because I didn't menu there, I didn't do ribbon there. Oh, anything that casts magic, like the Catman, you can kill it instead of trying to run. Haste. On our way to the volcano next. Life Spring Grotto. Whisperwind. Whatever I'm trying to say. The dungeons are more or less lined up with each other. Volcano. So, Usually averages 3 encounters per volcano. Just threw that in. It is actually entirely possible to go through here without a single encounter. Ogre mages, if you don't see another ogre, it's an unrunnable encounter. Already 3. We're probably going to be above average this time. Of course, the floor is lava. You're taking damage, but you're not getting random encounters while on lava. Go ahead and heal here. Make sure we're good. So that timed out well. Preemptive. At this point, I mean, I'm taking every preemptive game. Rare fire elementals. I'm just gonna melee them. Get the sword on to deal with them for sure. Don't need to safety save, but I would rather be full health for carry. Nerolith. Not gonna haste, just gonna use the sword. Nerolith can throw fire spells at you. They'll do somewhere around 150 to 180 damage, so if you're full health, there's risk. You know, don't be going in there with no... Rare drop of the golden apple. So rare, I don't think I've ever seen it before. That should improve our max HP, which is helpful. Don't count on getting it. Very rare. Gary is our final fiend. Your general guide of what to do with the various unrunnables that are there. So we put the Lust Dagger back on. Up my evasion. This final dungeon. Keep that for the first few floors. And then also I glitched the ribbon into being a Giganta Axe, and that's now sitting in my inventory. Because instead of putting the ribbon on its normal slot, I want it on the shield slot. That apple, get on the other side here. Unlock the time warp. And since I'm it's tonic. Potion, elixir, golden apple. Only 10 HP, but we'll take them. And safety save. Entrance to Chaos Shrine Revisited is a good place to safety save. Purple worms. So they are unrunnable. Best source of damage is melee. It's quick to kill them. It's 1 to 2. It's floors, but really good experience. 8,000. There is a risk if you see white dragons. They can do a lot of damage with their spell. You probably want to kill them with Judgment Staff if you see them. Alternatively, you could use the ribbon already. I said Judgment, but I'm gonna do Mage Staff because I have the Lordly Robes on. Kill the wolves. And the melee hit's gonna be plenty anyways. So this works out. So that's an unrunnable formation. Counter's slightly nicer on this floor. The green dragons show up. I was fully expecting that to be a 4 green dragon encounter just because. Hey, there we go. Judgment Staff instead of Blizzard just to be 100% sure that I kill them. Don't want them surviving. That's annoying. Death Eye is just a quick melee. Two shots, he's gone. Brittany would have been dead faster. Come over here, and there's your elixir, which is your 3rd complete heal. We have 2 elixirs and an X potion. Anytime you fight zombie dragons, they have a chance to drop a mega elixir. If you picked one up, I would skip Cardia Swamp pickup. You can safety save after the loot, just so you never have to deal with that again. Optional. In fact, actually, the better place to safety save is probably right after the staircase. Dragons, let's see if we can get you with Mage Staff. Not sure. No. Yeah. Judgment's the way to go on zombie dragons. Get a Mega Elixir here, just so much the better. You've got an extra safety. Ryos are actually pretty good experience. I don't feel like messing with that encounter. This is probably the better place to safety save after the Death Eye. Here we're back in the range of the white dragons. And there they are. Let's run. They just safety saved. Ambushed. That's kind of the worst case. I haven't tested this with this specific setup, so I want to be sure. Okay. Updated. Because it's faster to use the Judgment Staff whenever, or the Mage Staff whenever you can instead of the Judgment Staff. HP is actually not doing all that great right now. Lich, you can safety save if you're so inclined, but just mainly be full health. And switch back to the Barbarian Sword. Questionable whether or not to use haste, but on average, it's probably better. Here comes the flare. It's a decent hit. Our HP is high enough to take it. Stop shouldn't work. And that'll do. And that is how you get past Lich. You don't really need to change weapon back now. I'm gonna stick with Barbarian Sword the rest of the way. Fire floor, notable that the fire elementals are unrunnable. So, melee them if you only get 1 or 2. If it's 3+, use the Judgment Staff. I promise you the Fire Gigas is runnable, he's just being stubborn. Here we go. Hello Jean-Claude Van Jeff, we were working on wrapping up this tutorial video on a solo Red Mage run. Okay, this is where you have optional strats again. So I'm gonna save here. This is pretty much something I would only do for a marathon safety. Down here, go all the way down, all the way to the right. Keep going, keep going. Keep going, and there's the Mega Elixir. Like 4 extra fights to go get it, so I won't do that in a normal run, but I would do it in a marathon run, safety purposes. Time for Marilith. Breaking some real damage there. Fortunately for her, so am I. 5,000 damage is more HP than she has. Preemptive, Ray. Take all of those. All the preemptives, we'll take them. Final equipment change is near, but that's going to be after this. Pretty much summarizes everything said. Here to the middle, down. Waters are the only unrunnable here. Use the Judgment Staff. They're going to be in packs of at least 4 here. But the good news is they're actually decent experience. You do not have to respect Kraken. No respect for Kraken. With the survival vests on, he becomes the most trivial of all bosses. And you are definitely going to want to use haste to speed these fights up. They'll take at least 1 round off. Eye drops. That's a real difference maker. Alright, once you're here, be sure you heal. And it's time to retire the lurley robes. Put a ribbon on. Not a bad idea to safety save before this fight. It's safe, but you also want to safety save occasionally. Not the worst place to do one. It was Scourge, so that's not going to do anything. Thunderbolt is going to do something. But the battle shouldn't last long enough. It can do more than that. So, again, that would be over a 200 damage hit if we didn't have the ribbon on. And then that would have been 150. That'd be pretty real damage at that point. So, there's not a huge risk of random encounters that we want magic against for the rest of the floor. Usually going to get in one more fight. They're elementals, so they're runnable. And the equipment is also right for Chaos. Well, they're being stubborn with me. Failed on 3. That's fair. These damage rolls with Judgment Staff are not going to be anywhere near as good, but hopefully we're still enough to kill them. Don't, like, run 4 and 5 times. Take one more. So this is kind of a worst case time loss. Maybe I should have just kept trying to run instead. That's a tough call. But I want to get off this floor and finish this run up. Couple things. So the amount of ethers we used, you could buy 33 and that would be enough. Heal. Giant's tonics. Where's those Giant's gloves, though? Giant's gloves. They're there. And, Defender, actually. Defender up, please. So we're ordered. We'll save. These strats are pretty safe for Chaos, but Chaos is special. Chaos really is a worthy find. So, I want to mess around. And here we go. Alright, we're going to start with the Giant's Tonic. That's a pretty bad start, actually. But we're live. The fact that he turned order to me was the bigger concern. We should go faster than normally. Alright. So for Defender, in the NES, 3 ruses brought you up to max evade. For whatever reason, in this game, that doesn't feel like max evade, so I actually do 4. We're going to heal basically anytime we run to 300 HP. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use a 3rd Giant's Tonic because I got really bad rolls on my HP. Elixirs. Sure. And that basically is an extra almost 300 HP for the rest of the fight, or more, depending on how much we have to heal. So we've done 2, 3... That was a little bit of a concern. Missed. Giant's gloves. That's my one saber I'm gonna do. He is very spell happy, actually, which could prove problematic. I believe his next one is... Yeah, there we go. That's fine. He healed before I did any damage because he was that spell happy. Silly Chaos. So 24, got 20,000 HP. 48. 60, 70 something. 9. It's roughly 10,000. I'm gonna go ahead and heal this turn. I am not upset that I healed this turn. Once this is off, we should be fine. You can see the value of the complete heals. We're roughly 10,000. 13. Uh, 15, 16. Next hit should be it, I think. GG. So that's about a 215. But again, we took a lot of time. I showed off a few different things where they were. I was showing off where stats were. And I revised notes as we go here. Oh, there's my chaos list. So heal if you're under 300 HP. Usually 2 Giant's Tonics is enough to put you over 900 HP. If you're low on that, use an extra one. Defender, haste. You can temper twice, or Giant's Gloves once. And on that one, if he hadn't Cure Ford, an alternate strat would be keep using Temper or Saber until after that. If you run out of heals, you have a healing spell that you can use. So, here's that. That's how you beat Chaos. That's how you save the day with just the Red Mage.